Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to episode 24 of TV Hangover. It's a very special episode, Vicki.
Very special episode.
It is.
It's our Black Lives Matter. Hashtag Black Lives Matter
Hashtag
episode.
Oscars so white.
Yes.
Or not so white after Chris Rock hosted. I'm Erin Medley. That's Vicki Hyman.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, at Vicki High, VICKIHY. And we have an email address, tvhangovershow at NJ.com. So, Vicki, what's been going on with you?
Oh, I've been pretty busy with the Oscars and the fashion and yada, yada, yada.
Yes, because in addition to being our TV critic, you're also our fashion critic.
I am.
Wow.
I am.
We're going to get to the Oscars. But I did want to tell you that I made a hard decision this week.
Uh-huh. Oh, did you cut the cord on somebody?
I did.
Which one?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, really? Well, I have to say that I've basically cut the cord because I haven't been able to watch an episode since it came back. But I plan on it. It's totally on my list.
It was on my DVR because I also had to catch up on Jane the Virgin. And I was like, all right, let me throw in an episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend while I'm at it. And the episode on the one that when they came back, and I was just like, I need more than this Josh Chan nonsense.
She's still just pining after Josh Chan.
Every episode, it's the same thing, and I'm over it. Well, number one, because now Josh Chan is less and less attractive because he's annoying, and I like the bartender guy better. Or whatever
he's great.
He is.
Santino Fontana, I think, is the actor's name. I just adore him.
Yeah, he's much better, and I don't like the girlfriend, Josh Chan's girlfriend.
No, she's awful. But I love I can't remember Rachel or Rebecca. That's one of them is the actress. One of them is the character's name. Her best friend. She's awesome.
Yes, she's cool. But now the whole Josh Chan thing in the episode I saw was coming between their friendship, and I was just like, I'd rather we dump Josh Chan and just focus on the friendship, focus on the bartender guy. It's annoying. And from the beginning, I've said the show would be better if it was only half an hour.
I absolutely agree. It would be better only half an hour, and it probably won't get picked up. So
you don't think so?
Well, I mean, it got the Golden Globe, a SAG, I think, too.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, the ratings are just so bottom of the barrel.
They are abysmal. Good. Well, look, if it doesn't get picked up, I'm not going to shed a tear. So, a Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I have broken up with you. So let's get to some TV news. Sylvester Stallone, who did not win an Oscar.
Really? I didn't hear about that
shocker.
at all.
But he did win a prime Thursday night slot for his new fitness reality show, Strong.
That he's producing. He's not starring in.
He's not starring in it. Deadline reports that the competition series will air on NBC at 8 p.m. Thursdays before The Blacklist, because those two things go together.
Of course.
Although if you're Vicki Hyman, a competition fitness show and The Blacklist do go together because she thinks that James Spader is like a pudgy...
Stop it! I do not want the angry tweets. You heard about the tweet I got yesterday, so no.
No, wait. What's the tweet you got yesterday?
Well, I'm going to bring it up later about how I'm racist.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I think Vicki's racist too, so this will be great conversation. So yeah, that show's on Volleyball Player.
But it's also interesting. It's on Thursdays, which used to be their NBC's prime comedy block, and now it's like
so long ago.
They've given up hope. Now it's
totally
reality.
Given up. The show premieres with 2 back-to-back episodes Wednesday, April 13th from 9 to 11, so it's an hour-long program. Oh my gosh, we need more of those.
At least it's not 2 hours. Come on.
True.
I have to slog through
Biggest Loser, The Voice.
The other one.
American Idol.
The NBC's other weight loss fitness reality. The Biggest Loser. 2 hours every week.
Yeah. No, it's too long. And the show's going to be hosted by volleyball player Gabrielle Reese. And let's call her a former volleyball player because I don't think she's played.
Well, I think she's former pro. think she's probably still playing volleyball.
I play volleyball. You wouldn't introduce me as volleyball player Erin Medley.
No, but that's not how you made your fame, Erin.
Am I famous, though?
Yes.
Is it from this podcast?
In these offices.
Oh, okay.
But it also will feed, it's 10 women with 10 male trainers. And of the 10 women, 2 of them are from New Jersey. Why are you giving me that look?
I don't like this concept. Tell me more. Why is it 10 women?
I don't understand why it's just women and just men, except for the fact that I think they're trying to level the playing field if you have all women. Because, you stack up men against women. Men have the advantage in a lot of physical, competitions.
Yeah.
So it's all women. I don't know why all the trainers have to be men. 2 of them are from New Jersey. One of them is from where I live. She lives 4 blocks away from me.
And you have not knocked on her.
I'm going to. I'm absolutely going to.
Oh my gosh! Please.
I know her next door neighbor.
Be the intrepid reporter that we know you can be.
I am.
You are. That's right. In other news, Deadline also reports that film star Bill Paxton, not to be confused with Bill Pullman, has been cast in the CBS update of Training Day. It's set 15 years after the first film, and it centers on idealistic young African-American cop played by Kyle Craig, who is partnered with morally ambiguous detective Frank Rourke. So
I never saw the movie, but that's sort of like swapped
correct,
swapping the races there.
Yes, because Denzel Washington is the one who played the lead character,
and he won the Oscar for it, I believe.
He did win a Best Actor.
And
Oscar.
Ethan Hawke was the
Best Supporting Actor nominee. He did not win,
Okay.
but Training Day is a good movie. I would recommend that you see it.
Maybe I will.
You should. It's probably like on Netflix or something. So speaking of Oscars were on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Oscars so white hashtag, or the other way around. Chris Rock was the host. He started off the show with a biting monologue, I would say. What did you think?
I loved it. I thought he did a great job hosting all throughout. A lot of people said it was like too heavy on diversity. I mean, it may have been too heavy in diversity, but when they're all pretty much funny, I have no problem with that. Not everything, as we know, was funny. There were some notable misfires, but I thought that the monologue was great. I love some of the bits. My favorite one, which I do not think you have a clip of, is the one where they put black actors into different different of the nominated movies. And Tracy Morgan made a cameo in The Danish Girl, where he's eating danishes. These danishes are good, girl. I mean... It was awesome. Why are you looking at me like that? It was the funniest moment I thought of the telecast.
I disagree. My funny moment, which we do have a clip of, is when he just ripped into Jada Pinkett Smith, like read her for filth. It was amazing. Yeah. Let's listen to that clip.
Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
I love it. And a lot of people were saying, like, well, that's not fair. Like, Jada's been to the Oscars many times. Yes, with her husband. She wasn't invited.
Granted, I see what they're saying, though, because, I mean, it's not like they're talking about, like, New Jersey's Aunt Viv. It's not like Aunt Viv was ever going to... Not that she was recommending a boycott, but it's not like she was ever going to make it to the Oscars.
Right, that's true. But I did think he was right on point. Like, he sort of balanced... the two, where he made fun of the people who thought there should have been a boycott, which is utterly ridiculous. He went into the whole spiel about how it's like black people don't have anything better to talk. Well, not in general, but like they're focusing so much on this boycott. There could be other things
when there are other issues out there that are more important.
Correct.
Which was Aunt Viv's point.
Yes, that was Aunt Viv's point. And, I just thought it was funny. I thought he balanced everything really well in the monologue. But then we got to some other bits where it was like, all right, enough already. And
which one in particular?
I think it was the Stacey Dash bit.
Yes, that fell flat.
And let's listen to it again.
The Academy has taken steps to fix this problem, and that is why it is my honor to introduce the new director of our Minority Outreach Program. Please welcome Miss Stacey Dash.
The audience is like, who the hell is Stacey Dash?
I cannot wait to help my people out. Happy Black History Month. Thank you.
Part of it is a performance issue, I think.
With her line delivery?
She didn't know how to deliver the line, but do you think it was that people just didn't want to see Stacey Dash, or they didn't know who Stacey Dash was?
I think it's a combo of the two. I think a lot of people in there had no idea who Stacey Dash was, and then I think a lot of people even if they knew who Stacey Dash was, probably don't follow her politics, don't know that she's on Fox News, and don't know that she makes such ridiculous statements about African American people.
I think most people must know who she is. I mean, she's gotten a lot of coverage lately, even people in that audience, and they just didn't want to see her.
I don't know. I think we think that celebs are more aware of things than they actually are.
That's true. They are pretty buffeted.
That caliber of celebrity. We're not talking about the Emmys. Like, those people would know. These Oscar people, I don't know if they would know.
But when you're talking about, it's a huge auditorium.
It is.
And so I think you're not talking about like A-list people for the most part filling that auditorium. We're talking about the first 10 rows.
But if you're the crew of Mad Max Fury Road, you live in Australia.
That's true. That is true.
They
got me there.
Most of the people there. So they're like, Stacey, who? What? Isn't that the lady from Clueless?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The bit that I thought worked that everybody liked, which is why I was called racist to bring that up, was the Girl Scout troop bit.
Wait, what?
Okay, so
that was like the least black moment of the whole show.
It was a nice moment. I'd written an article. I written a post yesterday about how as somebody who writes about celebrities in real estate in New Jersey, I know that Chris Rock is from New Jersey, and sure enough, the woman that he was referring to, Linda Dunn, his nemesis, is from New Jersey, and so I did a bit about how she had no hard feelings about the personal throwdown, and I think my lead was something along the lines. One of the bits that didn't leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth was this Girl Scout bit, and somebody thought I was racist because I was saying that all of Chris Rock's bits were bad. So
look, reading comprehension is not required.
I know,
and
if somebody calls me racist on Twitter, then I think in this day and age I'm doing my job right.
Are you though?
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Look, all I'll say is Vicki's not racist. She just can't tell black people apart.
I can't tell anybody apart.
Which is the same problem.
Anybody apart.
Bill
Paxton, Bill Pullman.
That Total Beauty had when they sent out the tweet calling Whoopi Goldberg Oprah.
I knew that was not Oprah. Sorry. Of course.
Well,
because they introduced her as Whoopi Goldberg.
I think most of America knew that was not Oprah, except for Total Beauty, which is a shame. But I'll say overall, I thought the Oscars were fine. Like I said, I thought the opening monologue was great, and from there, it sort of was like middling for me the whole time.
I thought it was better than average, but it's really hard. I mean, when's the last time there was a amazing Oscars telecast?
Never, because you know why? They give away too many awards.
They do.
24 is too long. Now, I am the same person that said the Grammys didn't give away enough awards because they gave away 5. But I think 24 is too many. So if we can chop that down to 12, I think would be good. Show would be shorter.
The show would be shorter. What did you think about the innovation where they had the list of people's names running along the bottom so they didn't have to actually thank them and they could have a meaningful speech?
I thought that was okay, but it didn't work for the first hour of the show.
It didn't. Some people apparently didn't submit their lists. So they didn't have one. Yes. Apparently half the people, I think, didn't submit any names. I thought that was a really good idea, but I wasn't wowed by any speeches really, except for maybe the winner of Inside Out. The guy was talking about how difficult it is for young kids in high school and, get through it, create art. I was like,
oh boy.
I did.
Look,
I was touched.
I don't feel one way or another about the scrolling list of names because I don't care about any of those people, whether you verbalize it or I have to read it on the screen.
Well, the point is, you don't have to verbalize it if it's at the bottom of the screen.
But people did it anyway.
They did it anyway.
And also,
didn't work.
I loved how Inarritu was being played off to the oh my God, what's the Harrison Ford movie? Indiana Jones theme song, and he wouldn't stop talking. And I was like, dude, show's already running late. Get off the stage. You won last year.
That's true.
Stop talking. I wish the speeches were shorter.
And the one thing I also have to add about the songs is that I know that they were playing Oscar-winning songs throughout, but they were just weird choices. I think You're the One That I Want was. I mean, the pairings didn't make any sense at all.
They didn't make any sense, and I think it's because they had the list predetermined. They're like, all right, we're going to play this song now. We're going to play, but then they didn't go with the moments, especially when certain people won. Why is Inarritu being played off to freaking Indiana Jones theme song? That doesn't make any sense. But Leo, we got to talk about Leo real quick.
Do we?
Not really.
Okay, it's moving on.
All right. So overall, we'd say the Oscars were fine.
Yes, I would say better than average.
Better than average. Better than Neil Patrick Harris.
I can't even remember Neil Patrick Harris's thing. So yes, I would say so.
Exactly. You know what will never win an Oscar or an Emmy for that matter?
What?
The mother-daughter experiment on Lifetime.
You don't think so?
No.
Until they have an Emmy for
most ridiculous reality show contestants. guests who happen to be mother and daughters.
You are the reality show expert. I am only an expert in Real Housewives of New Jersey with a minor in Jersey Shore.
That's right.
That's my limits.
That is true. I am the reality show expert, and before the show we were talking, you said you have no frame of reference for Natalie Nunn. And I'm like, I have a frame of reference for every single contestant on this show because all of the other reality shows they've been on, I have watched them. Not an episode or two, full seasons.
Courtney Stodden had a reality show.
She was on Couples Therapy.
Oh, Couples Therapy, which was on what?
Which is on like that, Anthony?
Okay,
and then so was Natalie and Heidi. Mm-hmm. Well, Natalie originally is from Bad Girls Club, but then she was also on Couples Therapy with her football player husband. She was on the same season as Heidi, who's originally from the Hills. And so they were on Couples Therapy together, and that's where they started their conflict, which we saw come out last night.
Well, I'm sorry. I also think it's interesting that, people, it's like reality show. We all know reality show can be a career now. It's not just something you appear on and you go. And so you have like the top tier reality shows like Jersey Shore. And then they get their sort of spin-offs like JWoww and Snooki. I'm not saying this for Jersey Shore, but then there's like almost like this third tier where you have things like Couples Therapy, Marriage Boot Camp. JWoww did Marriage Boot Camp, I believe. And is this like a fourth tier where once you've made your name on that, you move down to this?
I may have been wrong. I don't think Heidi and Natalie were on Couples Therapy. I think they were on Marriage Boot Camp, another show that I also watched. Yeah, that's right. And Courtney Stodden definitely was on Couples Therapy.
So is Couples Therapy the same level as this show, or is this going down another level?
No. I think your whole category system is incorrect. But Couples Therapy gets a little more respect. It seems a little more legit than Marriage Boot Camp, which is kind of schmaltzy, and like they have a lot of weird tasks that they have to complete.
It's game showy.
It's not Couples Therapy. Showy. Isn't? No, it's just more bootleg. It's more about. It's on Wii, so most shows on Wii are that way. But I would say the mother-daughter experiment sort of falls into the Marriage Boot Camp category, if you will. It's not Couples Therapy.
Because Couples Therapy is like all the way up there.
No, because on Couples Therapy, Dr. Jen is the therapist. It's like what was that other show they had on VH1 where the drug addicts went and they lived in the Celebrity Rehab.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I feel about Couples Therapy. Like they really try to work through issues, and these celebrities on that show have real legit issues.
Yes, they absolutely do.
Whereas I feel like this mother-daughter experiment, they're
bogus.
Just making this crap up for TV. Like, how are Heidi and her mother still fighting about her plastic surgery that she had like 5 years ago? Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then Natalie and her mother, Natalie's like, well, my mom wasn't there for me because she spent 8 years taking care of my grandmother.
Well, actually, let's go to Shar Jackson, where apparently their issue is that Kevin left them, and Shar doesn't recognize that Kevin left her daughter, too. That was how many years ago?
That's like almost 10 years ago.
Are you talking 10? What are you talking 10? It must have been like 15 years ago.
No, it wasn't 15.
Yes, no, that whole thing happened.
15.
That whole thing happened. Oh, my God. Check it out.
Google it.
Check it out.
I'm going to Google it right now because we have that.
Because that whole thing happened when I was living in North Carolina. That was more than 11 years ago.
Yeah, but you said 15.
Okay.
I mean...
okay, I will go back. It was more than 10. I'm saying it was 12 to 13 years ago.
It was... Okay, he was engaged to Shar Jackson from 2001 to 2004, and then he was married to
12 years ago.
From 2004 to 2006.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. So we're meeting in the middle.
Okay.
All right, we'll meet in the middle.
Anyway, sorry, people.
But that's their issue.
Yes.
And I use quotes.
But I'm very glad that Shar Jackson is on there because she is, you are absolutely right. She is delightful.
Yeah,
I love her.
She's the best.
Give her own reality show.
I told you she was on Hollywood Divas, which is a show that I'm sure you didn't watch because it's on TV One. That's a channel for Black people.
Is it really?
It's a Black people channel.
Okay.
I mean, other people can watch. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you can't, but that is what it is. So she's on that show as like friend of one of the mains. Mm-hmm. So like on Real Housewives, she's a friend of a housewife. And she's the best part of that show. And she's not even like a main character. Mm-hmm. I like her a lot. She's really funny. She has a great personality. Her eyes are mesmerizing. Mm-hmm. And I think on this show, her and her daughter are going to be the most normal people in the house. And you know who's not normal?
Courtney Stodden?
Yeah, Courtney Stodden and her mother.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is Mama Drama.
They do have real issues. Mama Drama is another show. That's on VH1.
I think Sally Ann Sassano might have been involved in Mama Drama.
So many things.
Yeah, so Courtney Stodden's deal is, if you don't know who Courtney Stodden is, she was a 16-year-old who fell in love, and I'm not doing quotes, but I'm doing quote marks, with Doug Hutchison, who was 51 years old. He was a co-star of The Green Mile.
He was on Lost.
He was on Lost. And they fell in love, and they got married when she was 16 with her mother's blessing because they loved each other. Apparently, they sort of split up a couple years ago, and Doug got close to Mama, and Mama supposedly confessed that she was falling in love with Doug.
Well, we have a clip.
Do we? I'm sorry.
We do.
Didn't want to ruin it for anybody.
I've seen my daughter in 6 months, and I feel like the big bad wolf coming through the door.
I just want to let you know that I am willing to go through this with you and address all of these issues, and I want to hear your side of it too. You know, I'm open, I'm willing. It just hurts me what has happened.
Well, let me, Krista, talk to you about what we've been doing in here. Each mother and daughter pair did some interviews talking about their mothers and their daughters, and we've been playing them in here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Ready to watch the videos? Yes? Okay.
I used to manage my daughter, and I was her momager.
My mom definitely has ambitious to be famous. She's crazy for fame.
Ambitious?
Crazy for fame, and she wants it, and
She's
she
like
will stop
12.
at nothing to get it.
She doesn't appreciate all the things I've done for her. She doesn't understand the sacrifices that I've made. I feel that her husband has ruined our relationship at this point.
She began behind my back, trying to steal my husband away from me. She took his hand and said, I don't know what to do, but I'm in love with you.
It wasn't like she was madly in love with him at that time. When Doug
That makes
was
it
coming
okay.
to me and Courtney didn't want him, we became pretty close. So that's why we're in this mess.
And quite a mess it is.
I don't know. I mean, it's like the mom actually seemed more normal than I thought she would.
Really?
I said more normal than I thought she would be.
Okay.
But there's obviously something wrong with a woman who lets her daughter get married at 16 to 50-year-old. I mean, you just shouldn't do that.
I agree.
And Courtney Stodden, she's 21 now or
She's
something?
21.
I mean, there's got to be some emotional, stunting going on there between the early marriage to the older man. Did she finish schooling? I don't even know.
I don't think she may have finished high school. I mean, she didn't go to college.
Maybe.
She was
Maybe
she was on
she
couples
finished high
therapy.
school. I don't know. It's a really sad situation.
The whole thing is just weird. At a certain point, it becomes less sad because I mean they've done it for the fame and for the money, and this is not the first reality show for Courtney, as I mentioned, and I think her mother is also a little fame hungry. Yeah, I mean, if you let your daughter do this, I think you've got it. I mean, she was already, or momager, I mean, she was already looking like a Barbie doll before this. Right. Well, that's before she got married to Doug Hutchison. And she met Doug because he was her acting coach. So I'm literally queasy right now. Okay. All right. Well, we can assume that Vicki will not continue watching the mother-daughter experiment, and neither will I. Oh, you won't? Oh, no, I don't. Despite how well you and Sally Ann got along last week. Sally Ann and I are BFFs, but this show is not for me. I have many other things I can watch. Why is it not for you? Because, well, one, I've already seen all these people before, and they're not likable people. The only person that I really like is Shar Jackson. Everyone else, watch her elsewhere, and I can watch her on Hollywood Divas. So the other ones I can live without. See, for me, there are so many shows like this. It's like I don't want to waste my time watching it. So I'm like, I think it's interesting. This is where you draw your line. No, it's not. It's just this particular show. Like, I may watch another show with a similar premise that had different people on it. I just don't care about these people. Okay, so I don't want to watch them. But what I do want to watch is Blackish. Blackish is awesome. Oh, Blackish is so good. So last week, Blackish had a very special episode where they discussed sort of race in America and, very specifically police brutality against black people. Against young black people. Yes. Correct. It was a little bit of a different episode for them. Most of it took place in their living room. Which, by the way, actually, living room kitchen. I was like, a living room looks different. It hasn't always looked that way. I was very confused. I don't know about how the set was, but it was a very moving episode. I think there was a lot of positive feedback to it from people in general, but that got us thinking about some other very special episodes. because these happen all the time, and I think a lot more in like the 80s and the 90s.
Much more in the 80s and the 70s. 70s,
And the
80s.
70s.
Yes.
Before we were all jaded and we knew about everything.
Yes.
And kids were dating when they were 12 and all that other stuff that happens nowadays. I sound so old-fashioned.
You're old too.
I know.
I'm wearing my progressives for the first time today, so
Oh,
I'm officially old. But yeah, you're getting up there too, Erin.
I know. Yeah. So, one of the I think most poignant points in this episode was when Dre was explaining to Bo how he felt when President Obama was elected. Mm-hmm. I know
how they
that
both felt.
They both. That's right. That's true. He was trying to remind
because
her.
he was on. I mean, it was sort of like a play where they're taking different sides and hashing it out. And he was on the, the police have been beating up on black people. We've got to let our kids know. It was all about the little kids, Jack and Diane. What should we tell them? And Rainbow, who is more generally an optimistic person, sunnier, was like, no, let's shield them from this as much as possible.
Great. Let's take a listen to this clip.
Oh, so you want to talk about hope, Bo? Obama ran on hope. Remember when he got elected? And we felt like maybe, just maybe, we got out of that bad place and made it to a good place. That the whole country was really ready to turn the corner. You remember that amazing feeling we had during the inauguration? I was sitting right next to you. And we were so proud. And we saw him get out of that limo and walk alongside of it and wave to that crowd. Tell me you weren't terrified when you saw that. Tell me you weren't worried that someone was going to snatch that hope away from us like they always do.
We have tears in the studio.
Yes, we do.
Not from me.
It was very moving.
It was moving.
And can I just say, personally, I actually had a similar moment when at one point they're talking about they're showing clips of John saluting his father's coffin and Robert Kennedy, Malcolm X, and I was sitting with my son, and he doesn't know about the saluting of the coffin thing, which always has been very poignant for me, and so I explained it to him, and I was like starting to cry about it. And then I explained that, then his, 5 years later, his brother gets killed. And then I had to explain about how and why Malcolm X was killed, because he wasn't killed by some Sirhan white guy. He was killed by, black people. And when he was trying to become more moderate, and it was actually a very emotional moment for me.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, look, when Dre gave his speech there, I totally remember feeling the same way, and I know a lot of other African American people felt the same way. Like, this is not a good idea to get out of that limo and start walking down the street, but it was fine. Nothing happened.
He didn't die, right?
He didn't die. Still the president, by the way. But it was really relatable, and I think that was the thing about the episode that I enjoyed the most, is that they really did have people on both sides of the issue. Like when Pops was talking to Junior about all of the different cases, the way they brought it up, like, and he had a gun, and then Junior's like, well, he didn't have a gun, and then Junior's like, he did have a gun, but, it was in the trunk, and it was unloaded, or whatever, and, just highlighted how people always get the facts wrong, because they're so singularly focused on their viewpoint and, being angry or, one way or another, and not really focusing on the facts. So I thought it was a really great episode.
I thought it was an excellent episode because it also kept some of its humor, and the humor didn't feel out of place when discussing, which we will discuss when you talk about the 80s and the 90s special episodes. It reminded me very much of the West Wing 2000, and in the aftermath of the World Trade Center attacks, they did a very similar episode, like a play. I think they call it a bottle episode, where the White House staff there's some sort of thing going on outside, and they all get caught with this high school group that's touring the White House. And the White House group, the high school kids sort of explain, are asking questions like, why do they hate us so much? And they sit down, they sort of hash out some of the issues and whether torture is appropriate, whether our policies in the Middle East are appropriate. And it's this method of, answering questions in the context of a drama. I actually don't think it was as successful as Modern Family, because I think that some of the I don't think it was as true to the I don't think it was as true to the characters on West Wing as it felt on Modern Family.
Wait, Modern Family or Blackish?
I'm sorry, Blackish. I'm sorry.
I was like,
confusing the two. Sorry.
Were we watching something?
Sorry.
else?
I don't think that on West Wing, what the characters were saying were as true to the characters as we knew them as it felt on Blackish. And I think they just did a very good job in incorporating the humor on Blackish. Now, if we were to go back to the 70s and 80s and some of the very special episodes, and you're to watch them today like I did, you're just like, what was going on back then?
Wait, I just want to share my favorite joke from that episode of
I'm sorry.
Blackish.
Go right ahead.
So what's the name of the twin, the brother?
Jack and Diane.
So Jack, oh yes, that's right. So Jack says, what? The police are shooting people with no arms? Why are we just now hearing about this? I laughed out loud. I was like, of course Jack would say something like that.
But then it went on. He's like, no, we're talking about guns. It's like, well, how can they carry guns if they have no arms?
So good. That episode, for that episode alone, they should submit that for their Emmy.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Consideration. And if the show, if what's his name, Anthony Anderson, if they don't get nominations for that, I say pshaw.
I think they will. And the other thing I love is that it wasn't pushed on us like, you must watch this important episode. I mean, they did say it during Modern Family, like there is a special episode coming up. And that certainly made me tune in right then, because usually I DVR these things and then I watch them later. And I watched it, and I was very glad I watched it.
Yeah, it was good. So we talked about this special episode of Blackish and how there were other special episodes from older shows back in the 80s and the 70s. Let's start with something light, because we're about to get real depressing here. I was telling Vicki that the special episode I always remember, and a lot of kids who grew up in the 90s remember, is from Saved by the Bell. And it's when Jessie gets hooked on caffeine pills. Caffeine pills, kids. It's like Red Bull. And there's a moment where she's talking to Zach and she just breaks down, and it's so classic. Let's take a listen.
Pills? You mean you really are taking drugs?
I need them.
Jesse, give me those.
I need them, Zach. I have to sing.
Jesse, you can't sing tonight.
Yes, I can. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Jesse.
So good.
She won an Emmy for that.
Oh, she totally won. No, you know what she won? She won the lead role in Striptease or whatever that movie's called. Showgirls. Oh wait, Striptease was Demi Moore movie.
Yes.
Okay, Showgirls. That was Elizabeth Berkley, obviously playing Jessie, and I just really, that one always sticks out in my mind because it was so campy and over the top.
Did you realize that at the time?
Yes.
Okay, because I think a lot of these episodes, when you go back, if you were to go back earlier, they aren't as over the top, but when you're watching it, like, that's what it was back then. So you don't realize, like, what it can be.
Well, here's the thing.
Does that make any sense?
And we'll hear this in our other clips. The difference is, with that clip, is that there was no laugh track. There was no laughter. Let's take a listen to All in the Family had a very special episode.
Oh, my God, which I watched again last night. I'm not going to talk about it yet because we're going to listen to the clip first.
We're going to listen to the clip first, but I will set it up a little bit. So Edith Bunker is at home alone when an intruder breaks in.
Not even breaks in, sorry.
Yes, that's true.
All you gotta do is do exactly like I tell you, and everything's gonna be just fine.
Oh, what are you gonna do to me?
Just exactly what you think I'm gonna do to you.
No, you wouldn't do that. No, you wouldn't do that.
I will.
No.
Knock it off. Knock it off. All right. Just stay quiet, okay?
What are you gonna do? You ain't taking off your clothes, are you?
Ha ha ha! So
then
funny.
I'm gonna take yours off.
Wouldn't you like a cup of coffee instead?
I don't drink coffee.
I got Sanka.
I got Sanka.
Which, by the way, I laughed out loud when I heard that. I was like, oh, that's funny.
I mean, it was funny, but it was the most jarring thing I've ever seen in my entire life, where they are playing out a very serious issue. And I have to say, if you continue watching, there was actually a lot of nuance with this episode where the guy who comes to the door is dressed normally, is kind of a handsome guy. Mm-hmm. He comes in saying, I'm a detective investigating a rapist, and it turns out he is the rapist. And later on, when she's telling her kids this, Archie's trying to be like, oh, it's like some guy busted in our house. And she's like, no, I let him in. And he's like, oh, but he was disgusting, degenerate. I know he's actually very handsome. And it's like, it's a rapist is not always, degenerate off the street who, bust in your house. I mean, It could mean you're talking about date rape, you're talking about lots of different kinds of rapes. So kudos for that. But the mixture of the jokes and I'm sure it was actually a live audience.
Right. It was
the live audience.
audience.
It was just it was horrifying to me.
I agree.
To watch it now.
And yeah, look, I would recommend everyone go back and watch that episode. But I agree with Vicki. Watching it now, you're kind of like, ooh, that doesn't like. And I strike
loved
the right
All
tone.
the Family. That was a show that my family and we watched together every single night. I remember that episode and being very disturbed by it. But I do not remember being disturbed by the tone like I am now.
Yeah, the tone's a little off. Although I still think that Sanka joke is
off.
amazing. Wrong time, right joke. Yeah. Wrong time, right joke. Another show that tackled a very special episode was Different Strokes. And it was The Bicycle Man. I think it was a 2-part episode, actually.
I don't remember. I watched it first run.
Yeah.
That's my childhood, with Gordon Jump from WKRP in Cincinnati playing turns out to be pedophile who is preying on Arnold and his best friend Dudley.
And we have a clip from that, and if you are not prepared to be disturbed, I would turn or fast forward for 30 seconds.
Guys, you can just have an awful lot of fun with your clothes off.
What kind of fun?
Well, for instance, there's skinny dipping. I think I got some pictures around here of a bunch of us skinny dipping. You guys are going to love them. Let's see if I can find them. Here they are right here. Here we are down at the old water hole.
Hey, you don't have any clothes on either.
You don't think I'm going to let them kids have all the fun, do you?
That is disgusting.
Oh, my gosh.
Wait, and the worst part about that clip is you can hear children laughing in the audience.
Oh.
So they had kids in the audience for that episode, and it's just like,
what they're trying to do. The Different Drugs also did the whole Nancy Reagan, just say no to drugs thing. They were clearly trying to educate kids that watch out for the pervy guy who wants to show you naked pictures. But just watching it as a piece of art, as a piece of creation, it's just. And at the end of the episode, when spoiler alert, don't worry, Dudley,
by the way,
Dudley does not get raped in the end.
They're all available on YouTube if you want to watch the episodes again.
But Arnold leaves, he tells his father, the police bust in, they find Dudley shirtless in the other room. It is horrifying. It's like Day After what's the nuclear Holocaust one? Help me out here.
I don't know.
Is it Day After Tomorrow? I thought that was the horrible sci-fi movie.
No.
About global warming.
I thought that was 2012. So many horrible
movies. That nuclear Holocaust movie that scarred a generation in the 80s. Yeah, it was on that level of disturbing.
Yeah, it was very disturbing. Now, Vic, do you think that comedies are the right venue to sort of have these special episodes and spread these messages of whatever?
If it's done like that, no.
Yes.
I think Blackish, about to say Modern Family again, Blackish did a very good job, but it's something that has to be a very special episode. You can't do that every single week.
Right. Although I do feel like Blackish is a show where every week they tackle a controversial topic.
They do. When they did the N-word in the first episode, they did a great job, but this was a special, episode, like they were only in one place and they were just hashing out the entire time. So they did it very effectively. I don't really think that sitcoms are any more the ideal place to get messages across to kids like that, if it's going to be done like it was done
back in the
day. And I can't think of anybody else, any sitcoms that are doing that now, other than doing it like that. So it was retired for a good reason.
Right. I agree. I completely agree with that. So now let's make that smooth transition from very special episodes to The Bachelor.
Okay. Which has very special people in it.
That is true. I have a Bachelor quiz for you. It's pretty brief. We're down to the final 2 contestants.
So it's got to be the last one, right?
Well, no, because next week we have the final rose. Women Tell All, the finale, and after the final rose.
Is that all one?
I think that's all one night.
One night?
Maybe not. I hope not. I think the Women Tell All is 2 hours, and then the next week you get the finale plus the after the final rose, so it's 3 hours. So we could have 2 more weeks of this. So I hope you're excited.
Knocking my head against the microphone.
All right, are you ready? We only have 4 questions.
Okay.
So Ben said goodbye to one of the contestants this week. Who was it? Was it A, Lauren B., the flight attendant, B, JoJo, the real estate developer, or C, Kayla, the software sales rep?
Now, are those three people, are two of those people the people who stayed? So I've got to guess, is he staying with the flight attendant, the real estate, or the, what's the third person?
Software sales rep.
Software sales rep they got rid of.
Ding, ding, ding.
They got rid of the smart one. I'm sorry, that was so insulting.
We got it right. Oh, there's our bell. I was waiting for the bell. So that's one you got here. So this one's a little different. I'm going to read you the question. I'll give you the answers, and then we'll give you the correct answer as an audio clip. Ben says to Kayla, while breaking up with her, I knew this was going to get hard at the end because I knew I was going to have to say goodbye to somebody at some point I was falling for. It's really hard to imagine saying goodbye to you. What was Kayla's response? Was it A, that sounds like a line, B, that's some bull, beep, ooh, C, then don't say goodbye to me yet, I love you? C. It's got to be C.
That sounds like a line.
Oh, wow.
I know.
She's the software person. She's smart. She can identify a line.
You know what I will say, and I've watched, obviously, a lot of seasons of The Bachelor. Ben's lines, they all sound very rehearsed, and like the producers were feeding them to him. He does not sound sincere or genuine most of the time.
But it doesn't happen every single season where they're feeding them these lines. These guys are not coming up with these lines themselves.
It happens in every single reality show where they're being fed lines by producers or they're asked to repeat something. But most people can kind of make it sound like it came out of their own brain. Nothing he says sounds like it came out of his head.
But I'm saying, I do not watch The Bachelor, but I mean, the little bits and pieces I have watched, they all say the same ridiculous things that these men would never say in real life.
I don't know.
Ever.
I feel like Juan Pablo, who was like the most hated Bachelor ever, said a lot of D-baggy things, so I'm sure those all came out of his brain. All right, number 3. So you're 1 for 2. After being dumped, Kayla gets out of the limo and she asks Ben,
So did you know this week?
When?
Like, did you... Because I might as well take advantage of this time and get any answers that I don't know.
Please.
So she basically said, did you know this week? What is Kayla really asking? A, did you know you love the other 2 women this week? B, did you know before our date in the fantasy suite? C, did you know you were sending me home? Or D, all of the above?
I'm tempted to do D, but I'm going to go for B.
It was D, all of the above. I mean, look, here's what happened. She went to surprise Ben, which was not good because he had already told the other 2 women that he loved them. And Ben broke up with her. She gets in the van to be driven off into the sunset, and then she's like, nope, stop. She gets out of the van, goes to Ben, and she says, did you know? And the look on her face is kind of like, did you know before we had sex in the fantasy suite that you were going to break up with me? And it was like one of the most uncomfortable conversations ever on The Bachelor. But you know what? Kudos to her.
Absolutely. I'm surprised it doesn't happen. Well, I'm not surprised it doesn't happen more often. I wish it would happen more often, I guess.
Because that's true. It was so
That's a question a woman would ask a man.
Absolutely.
In that situation if it happened in real life.
And it was so clear that he said to the other 2 women that he loved them. Like, he verbalized it, which I had to explain to Vicki, rarely happens on The Bachelor before the final rose is given out. So he knew. And those fantasy suite dates are back to back to back. So he's going on a date with each one of them one night after the other. So he slept with Kayla first. Her date was the first one. And then he had the dates with the other 2. So I want to know, too.
You know, I'm sorry. I remember at the beginning of reality shows where there was only the suggestion that maybe, possibly, they would be having sex at some point. So now you're saying the guy just bags 3 women in a row on television.
Basically.
That's just so gross.
It is gross.
I'm sorry.
I know. All right.
I'm just becoming aware of this. This is so gross.
It's disgusting. All right. So
and there's I'm sorry. And there's no it's just that's what happens. Everybody knows that they're not trying to soft pedal it all. We don't know what happens in there.
No, because
they're just going to close the door. Maybe they just looked at the fire. I don't know.
Because
and drank hot cocoa.
Every fantasy suite date ends with the couple making out on the bed, and then one of them
and
gets
they pan
up
to the
close
condom
the
wrapper.
Okay. No condoms, but they get up. They pan to the door closing and the lights going off. Every single fantasy suite date ends.
Maybe I was just naive in the beginning, and I assumed that. I mean,
they were talking all night.
Yeah,
not so much. Ugh. All right, so number 4, you're 1 for 3. After handing out his final 2 roses, Ben smiles and giggles with the women. Literally, they were giggling. JoJo says, A, I can't wait to marry you. B, it's weird that you can fit us in one hug. Or C, this is the most awkward rose ceremony ever.
Oh, God. B.
That is correct.
Yay! Because it sounded like something that would be too hard to make up.
Yes, it was. It's not true. It was. He goes. So he's already, like I said, told these 2 women that he loves them, and then he hands out the final 2 roses. They know that Kayla's gone already, and then he brings them both in for a group hug. And I was like, ugh. And then JoJo says, it's weird you can fit us in one hug. And I'm like, is this going to be Big Love? What are you...
that is a show I would watch.
The Bachelor and his 2 brides.
The Bachelor versus Sister... And cross with Sister Wives.
I love Sister Wives. Do you watch Sister Wives?
No, I do not watch Sister Wives. I did watch Big Love, however. All seasons.
Okay. Well, I watched Sister Wives all seasons. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of TV Hangover. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at @E_meds. At Vicki Hy, VICKIHY. We'll be back next week. Tell your friends about us, and we'll see you then.